Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Today is the day we're putting the focus in on Jones Road Beauty. This is Bobbi Brown's makeup brand, the current brand that she is in charge of. And basically the short story of it is it's clean, no makeup. And I'm not surprised at all that this is a direction Bobbi Brown wanted to go. I own almost all of her makeup books. She loves an aesthetic that is very effortless seeming, that really brings out the natural beauty that a person has. She's into simplified. Many of the products she has are just very geared toward ease and just kind of throwing them on, being easy and simple with it, and having that naturally beautiful look. I have had some of her products for months, and it was like I couldn't quite place what I wanted to do with them. And this was before her foundation came out, called What the Foundation. And I had these various kind of random bits and pieces of the line, and I played with them and I tested them, but I wasn't quite sure how to really integrate them into a video. And I just thought, you know, I'll just hold off a little bit. And then lo and behold, we have the foundation now, and I'm like, okay, it's all kind of making sense. Now these different products I've been playing with have kind of a means of creating an entire look. And something to know about this brand, you know, brands have different vibes. The vibe of this brand is very like barely there, easy, throw it on, no big deal. It's almost like makeup for people who really don't want to be obsessing about all the different products and the nitty-gritty and a real complicated look. And frankly, sometimes I love falling into a real complicated look. I don't mind sitting down, spending an hour really trying lots of different products and incorporating all sorts of things into my look. I can be very happy with that. My vibe isn't necessarily like the barely there thing, although it's an idea I'm definitely willing to entertain and it's a look I like. But don't you notice that there are some brands coming out, even the brand like Saint Beauty, where it's all cream products, and the idea is you're going to get a palette of cream products and that's all the makeup you're going to need to work with. On one hand, that sounds appealing. On the other hand, it's like, but all my stuff, you know? I like trying lots of different things, working with lots of steps, getting a glam look. So this brings me to my whole point of this video, and it's making Jones Road work for me. How do I adjust some of these products? How do I use them to get a look that really suits me, which maybe isn't quite so barely there? And also a big priority for me is the staying power. My idea of good staying power is a look that hangs on, looks good all day, and I don't have to go by in the mirror and feel like, oh, that really broke down, or I need to touch that up before I leave the house. Like, I don't really mind touching up, but ideally I've been able to latch onto some great products over the years that don't force me to do that at all. So I want to tell you how I make the brand work for me. I've spent enough time with all these various products to really have some opinions and have some ideas on how they work best. And another thing I want to tell you, if you have not found Bobbi Brown on TikTok, you need to find her there because she's very informative. She does lots of quick videos, sometimes addressing questions, sometimes just addressing like frequently talked about things involving her brand that she's seen out there, and she just kind of hops on and chats about it. Most recently, she was talking about how basically aging skin needs moisture, and everything in her line is very geared toward like putting that back in the skin, and she highlights several different products and how they do that. So keep that in mind. It's moisture, moisture, moisture here. Not that an oily skin person couldn't work with some of these things, but some of them may be a bit more of a challenge. So here's one of the things that I've had on hand for a long time, and it's the Hippie Stick Everywhere Balm. I think some people might think, well, we could put this on the face, we could use it like a moisturizer. It is very multi-purpose, and I do love the smell. I was reading up everything that was in here. Spearmint is one of the things. Oh, it smells so fresh. And I have noticed that there are some things, and she says they're only scented with essential oils. There's no additional fragrance outside that in these products. But here's what I like to do with this. I actually like to use the Everywhere Balm on my hands. That's been the best place for it for me. I mean, it has the feeling like sort of a Vaseline stick, but maybe thicker. And I just work my hands in there, y'all. And this actually has been one of the better things for my knuckles or my cuticles. Not that a hand cream can't handle it too, but I remembered getting this thinking I was going to use it more facially, and really, you know, I might put a little bit on like a lip balm, but mostly I think this is a good targeted dry patch addressing product, you know, and it does again have that great smell, feels good on my hands. I'm probably going to, for the long haul, keep this downstairs, keep it kind of by my chair where I usually sit, and just every so often apply that to the skin, because I'm not feeling the need to use it, like I said, in a lot of ways on my face, but on my skin, it's great. Let's also talk about this, which sort of amounts to like a lip treatment for me. I got this in a little combo bundle of products that included, I want to say, an eyeshadow and an eyeliner. Maybe 2 different eye products were in there too. But this is called the Cool Gloss, and it's just in Original. That was just like kind of what came with the set, I guess, at the time. But you're going to put this gloss on, and it feels really smooth. As you spread it on your lips, you feel like it's almost melting down a little bit with the heat of your skin, of your lips. But it does end up having a little bit of a cooling feel, which I definitely like. I always enjoy that. I see it as kind of a treatment product, given, you know, its lack of color. It's the type of thing I might put on my lips, let it sit there while the whole makeup routine is going on, okay? Here's another product that is interesting, and I definitely want to try more of what's in this range of the Miracle Balm. Okay, nice big tub of product. And they talk about like putting your finger in it, basically breaking the seal, so to speak, and then you push into that hard outer layer, and then you get into it, and you've got this creamy balm. And I got the bronze shade, and this is a very thick, very moisturizing balm. It's like the balm in this Everywhere stick, but like softer. And it might be the initial urge to like take something like this and, you know, you try to use it as like a cream bronzer. And I can do that on a very, very light level on my skin. But if I apply a lot of this on top of foundation, it can feel very, very heavy. It's not like it's jam-packed with shimmer. I mean, it has some glow. I want you to see it up close. But I could see it being kind of like something worn alone on the skin, like for a true no makeup situation, but you want some moisture because it's definitely going to give you the moisture. And I've already moisturized my skin, you know, skincare-wise underneath this, but this could be it. You could put this on, and maybe you just want to wear a little something light to the beach, pair it with your sunscreen, mix it into your sunscreen maybe, and suddenly the skin's got a little more radiance. I'm almost using it like a bit of a primer, but guys, I went sparingly because there's a ton of moisture in this stuff. There are some different shades that I want to try of this. There's a color called Tawny that seems deeper and a little more reddish, and that one's got me very intrigued. But like, just having had this on my hands now, I'm like, whoa, there's a ton of moisture in this product. I think dry skin would adore this, but be careful and light with it if you're wanting to really take advantage of it as a makeup product, you know, as a step in the routine that follows foundation, because it has a lot of moisture in it. And in the times when I've experimented with this and worn it like throughout a day, and I like layered it on and almost tried to wear it like bronzer, I was feeling that moisture and that sort of tackiness all day long. Like I said, I kind of want to try a few different shades, but I'm just pointing that out about the Miracle Balm. It's an intriguing product. It adds glow to the skin by way of its tint and its hydration level. And I know it seems like we've talked about a lot of things here before really getting into the meat of the makeup look, but that's just the way some of these products are, all right? Now this, my friends, is the What the Foundation. I have it in the color Light, and this foundation, when Bobbi Brown was using it, she kind of described it as like a tinted cream. She used so little of it if you watch her demo, and I think intention is very important, okay? So like figuring out exactly how the person who designed the product intended it to be used, I think that's a key thing to know, and then kind of adjusting to your own ideas. But it looks like this, and it looks like it has kind of like an oily finish to the product, you know, and there are oils in here. There are essential oils, and she says it smells like a spa. And I think it really does. It has a freshness to it, guys. I really do enjoy the smell of this. And it has no outside fragrance added outside the essential oils. But when she picked it up on video, I swear, she had such a minimal amount on her finger for a full face. And she's even said that you can wear this and you might not even need moisturizer underneath. So, like, there's something to know. I have been putting this on with my fingers and just kind of blending it in. And we've got that extra moisture from like all my skincare underneath, plus the Miracle Balm that we first put on. But what we end up seeing here is a ton of hydration. It's light makeup, it's extremely hydrating. It does even things out a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit more because I didn't feel like I totally blended over this area. Does it surprise me that this is the kind of foundation Bobbi Brown put out? Not at all. Again, she's a very like let the skin show through makeup kind of person, and the way she describes this product is kind of like a no makeup tinted cream. It's got loads of moisture in it. She recommends applying it either with your fingers, that's her preferred method, a dry sponge, and she held up one of those little like white wedge sponges, or a flat brush. I'm gonna build just a little bit in like this area, and this is a Real Techniques double-ended brush. And I'm just gonna like kind of swipe it on. Keep in mind, when you build this up, more product equals not just a little more coverage, but way more moisture too. So think of how much your skin can handle. I'm normal to dry. I wouldn't say I'm extremely dry at all, but my skin has its limits with stuff like this. So as you're going to see, I'm going to take a few additional steps outside of this line in a few minutes here to make this the most satisfying look for me. But yeah, that is my What the Foundation blended in. It is a very no makeup looking base. It definitely completely adds to the radiance of my skin, and it does not in any way look like makeup. Now here's where the brand offers an avenue for some additional coverage. They have something called the Face Pencil. This I have in shade 5, and this I can use all over the face to sort of enhance my coverage in different areas. I'm going to straight up use this as under eye concealer, as kind of like a brightener here, you know, taking it up and out. And I actually kind of feel like this little guy does a good job. We've got so much moisture on our skin, I'm really not scared to just sort of go hog wild with this stick because I know that my face can take it. You could press it in with your fingers. This is a situation where I would probably bring in a brush just because I prefer that manner of blending. This is my e.l.f. Duo brush. It's got a little fluff to it. And I can get right in there to my under eye area. And I feel like this shade is pretty perfect in terms of brightening me, but also covering. This stick is not like the fullest coverage I've ever seen, but it's really pretty decent. Like I said, given the whole vibe of the line, I was kind of impressed with how much coverage it did end up having. And like I said, if you're applying it in conjunction with What the Foundation, maybe got a little miracle balm going on the skin, it is going to have plenty of moisture to sink into and continue to look really natural. And there is a nice glide across the skin too, regardless. Like I've definitely experimented with that long before I had What the Foundation, and I didn't feel like it was one of those dry sticks of the old days, you know, stick concealers that just didn't want to move across the skin. But it definitely ends up looking so natural. You can see as I turn my head, my skin, everywhere I put that, I still have that kind of glow. But we've been able to handle some redness with that and just really even things out. Now, in the name of making this brand work for me, what I would do here is set it a little bit. And we go outside the brand because she's not offering like setting powders, but I would take my Wet n Wild Photo Focus now, it's translucent powder, and I want my skin to feel not quite so tacky all over. So I'm going to first focus on my under eye area and my T-zone. And the skin ends up being the star of the show in terms of staying power when I do these steps. I've got one more powder step I'm going to take too. The eyes are another story, we'll get to that, but the skin can actually look quite good. And I feel like my skin enjoys these products, that, you know, all that moisture that I have on underneath. When I let myself have a little powder step here, like it all works. And it's not like I'm going on thick with the powder, okay? It's not like I slathered on all this moisture and then caked on a thick layer of powder. That's not what this is. A light bit on this brush, just kind of pressing it in. And then for a little extra coverage and evenness all over, I go for an actual powder foundation. This is my one size called Turn Up the Base Versatile Foundation Powder in Light 5. Whatever you have, you know, the e.l.f. one is good, L'Oreal. I'm getting a light bit on my brush. You can barely see what's on my brush. And then I'm pressing it all around, just kind of doing a little stamping motion. And this makes my skin feel even more even all over, but it also helps everything last better. Because keep in mind, you know, summer heat, I sweat. If I'm spending any amount of time outside in this 90+ degree heat, I'm gonna be creating staying power issues for my makeup. I always feel like my upper lip, my forehead, just sweating immediately. So I need a little defense against that. I think Bobby would be okay with it. The amount of application was very light. We weren't like taking a big sponge and just zhunk, you know how some people do with powder foundation. We're just lightly like pressing it in. This is how I make this work for me. This is how I make Jones Road do its thing. Now at this point, the Miracle Balm. We had this in the bronzy shade. If I'm going to try to use this on top of my makeup, this is how I do it. I get some off on my finger. I work a small amount on here, and I kind of deposit that on my own personal palette here, my hand. And then I pick some of that up with a brush, and I might just stamp a little bit of that around. This is how I ensure the lightest possible layer of this stuff, worn in this kind of like on top of foundation capacity, you know? Otherwise, I think this can be nice just sort of slapped on alone for a little glow. Because if I'm going to the beach, I'm really not wanting to wear a lot of anything besides sunscreen. Like I will get in the water, I will want to swim. I'm not into fully made up, but I could see this looking really pretty. So again, you just get a little on your hand, work it in, and you know, you've got a little tint of bronziness on top. And then guys, this is one of my favorite products from the line, the stick, the blush stick. It's a lip and cheek stick, and I have it in Rosy Brown, and I love this shade. I love the texture. It's ideal. So just a nice little twist up stick here. We're gonna swipe it on the cheeks. It's such a great color. It does have some glow by way of its moisture, not really by any shimmer. I'm gonna dab off a little bit of my lip moisture there and put this on. It's so pretty on the lips too. So everyday. Look at that. And then we're just gonna leave the cheeks as is. Now here's what's up. We're just gonna take a little dense brush and just dab over that. And for those who have an issue with this going on top of powder, I can't say it enough, I didn't put on a lot of powder. And never have I had an issue with putting a cream blush or cream bronzer on top of a little bit of powder that's been on my skin. It's never been an issue, and it's not an issue with this. You will notice that the finish on the skin looks radiant and pretty and not cakey at all. This is a blush that looks pretty, like just kind of tapping right over the nose even. Like it's such a good shade. Such a good shade, and it does look a little dewy, but that's kind of the name of the game with this brand, okay? Do we want to build it some more? Yes, we do. A little bit out here. I just love the tone, and I don't feel like I have a blush stick that looks just like this. Would definitely be open to trying more colors. But if you're kind of looking through the line and trying to understand what it's all about and what's best used for what step, I am more in favor of using this as my blushy step and my lip color step, even though the Miracle Balm can be very multitasking too. You could use those on your lips. I like this better as like a makeup step than the Miracle Balm. Yes, I think that balm can be multitasking, but this is more like part of a makeup routine kind of product. And then look at that pretty lip color too, and you can build that up as well. Like oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Next, I'm gonna just do my brows real quick, and then we're gonna throw together an eye look using the Jones Road products. So I've done my brows. I used my e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in Cool Brown and NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. I also applied some Milani eyeshadow primer. And then for the eye look, I have this product called Just a Sec eyeshadow, and it's like a little cream pot eyeshadow. The color is called Golden Peach, and this product is the worst product in the line for me. This does not set, this does not wear well. It creases a lot. One of the first times I wore it, I don't know if I cried or what, and I kind of attributed the staying power concerns to moisture around the eye, and then subsequent times that I've used it, there was really no issue, and it just wants to collect, and it wants to take everything that you're using with it and just kind of collect. So it kind of pains me to use this, but yet I want you to see what it looks like. It's a cream, almost a little moussey feeling cream that, again, does not set for long wear. So yeah, the idea of everything being creamy and moisturizing, you know, I think it has its limits. We need something with a little more like some of that technology that just junk locks in for us here on the eye area, because I just don't like to play around with the eyes. I have a high expectation for things lasting and wearing well. So you see me, I'm putting this on most of the lid because I have a different product to use elsewhere, but it's pretty looking enough. You know, it has a little sheen, it has a little like fine sparkle in it. Again, the color is called Golden Peach. But you know, the problem is it just can't hang. So what I'm gonna do is blot over it. I'm going to pick up as much excess as possible from what I just applied there. And then today, to improve the staying power a little bit, I'm going to make that stuff act more as a base for me. You know what I mean? As opposed to just freestanding. And I'm just going to take a shimmer. This is my Essence Nothing Compares to Nude. A little eyeshadow palette. And I'm going to take some of the sort of the coordinating shimmer shade that's in a powder texture. And I'm just going to dab that on top. And what's the name of the game today? Making this brand work for me. So if I know my skin doesn't really tolerate that cream shadow staying power wise, I will put it on real sheer and I will make it be my base. Then what we have, I think, is a pretty decent eyeshadow formula here. When it's called the Best Eyeshadow, and I have it in dark brown. This came in a little bundle that involved an eyeliner, and I think this, maybe that lip gel stuff. It was kind of random. It was among the first stuff I got. But you have a little compact here with a mirror, and this is just a dark brown matte shadow. It can be pretty versatile for you if you wanted to use this as eyeliner. But look, it's pigmented. Putting it on, just one little press down here with my flat brush, and I can have actually a pretty dramatic eye look out of this shade. But I'm letting it overlap the lighter stuff just a bit, and then we'll go in with like a crease brush, and that'll help us blend it out a bit more. But yeah, I don't really have any problems, any complaints about this shadow. A shade like this could even possibly work in my brows. It's definitely the right tone, but I think it could easily be overused because it is so pigmented. See, it's looking kind of pretty as we overlap some of that shimmer. Okay, and then we're just going to get a little lift out of this by using the small pointed brush from Profusion, getting a little more product on the brush and going into that crease and just kind of letting that work up and out. Now, it's not like we're working with a full palette here. As you can see, it's just one shade. So, you know, if you get one shade, you got to kind of think, how far can I take the one shade? For me, I can get it as my dark shade, and then I can kind of blend it up and sheer it a little bit. Just little circular motions. Again, just a little additional product applied to the brush. I see that there is now a mascara in this line, which I should have gotten. I probably will get eventually, but I don't have it right now. For today's look, I will just be using a mascara that I have. Oh, but we do have the eyeliner. I forgot about that. The other day when I was playing with this, I used this shade. I did pretty much exactly what I'm doing now. And then I took my lip and cheek stick. And again, this is in the rosy brown shade. I got a little bit on my finger and I applied it to the border. And I thought it looked kind of pretty because, you know, we don't have a real transition-y shade going on. But I kind of tapped it in to give a little more color there. Just right where the shadow is emerging out from the crease. I'm not sticking this in the depths of my crease. But that shadow did not create any fallout for me. It didn't create any mess on top of the cheek, and it has plenty to stick to, you know, so that's good. This eyeliner is called the Best Pencil, so just a standard eyeliner pencil, and it is in black. Guys, I'm not a fan of this either. Along with the cream shadow, it just doesn't last. It doesn't set up and stay. Again, I'm putting it through some intense conditions, intense heat, possibly sweat. But I'm talking just a few hours in after a morning walk, and this stuff was not hardly there anymore. Now it looks pretty now, and it looks fresh and defining, and it's going across my lash line with ease. So the mechanics of the product are not the problem, it's just the longevity. Again, I think there are just some parts of the look where the creators have to look past the whole let's just make it juicy idea and actually make it something that can hang on for the long haul. But it went on with ease. I mean, it will do that. I'm gonna pop on some mascara and I'll be right back. Guys, I've just popped my mascara on. One of my current favorite mascaras, by the way, it's the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Stretch and Strengthen Mascara. This was recommended by one of y'all, and it's really hitting a sweet spot for me right now, like in terms of just the age of the product. It's building so well on itself. I'm really, really enjoying doing that. So basically, we've got the finished look here. One other thing I would do, and you could use your Wet n Wild powder for this, or you could use your powder foundation. I just love bringing in my Kosas Cloud Powder at this point, and I have been using it kind of regardless of the makeup routine, using it a little bit as finishing powder right here, hitting the nose, hitting just between the brows. These are just areas where I see the most chance for product breakdown later in the day, and kind of pulling it in right in there. See what I mean? It makes a difference. It makes me feel like it's doing something. But guys, this is my finished Jones Road look. If we're talking about favorites, the biggest standouts for me, I like the foundation, okay? I respect it. I think it's a cool product. I think you gotta know what you're wanting when you're going in. If I was recovering from a sunburn, this would be like the first kind of thing I'd want to put on. It's so juicy. You do not need to wear a lot of it. That's not the intention with the product, but I think it would be a very good mature skin foundation, a very good dry skin foundation. But keep in mind maybe the words skin tint or tinted moisturizer or tinted cream, and I think that will kind of temper your expectation a little bit on it, because it's just not got a lot of coverage. I like the stick concealer. I like that pairing of the two, because I think this stick just kind of melts into what you got going on with this, and they work well together. My other favorite thing, and maybe my top favorite thing, is this blush stick, the lip and cheek stick in Rosy Brown. I love the color, and it truly is a comfortable stick worn in both places. Sometimes a stick you put on your cheeks ends up still looking kind of dry and cream to powderish on the lips, but this really translates to both just perfectly. Those are definitely my top three things. I think complexion is the strength of the line, really. The Miracle Balm is sitting kind of squarely in the middle for me, because it's one of those sort of harder to place products in the makeup routine. How will I use this exactly? You saw a couple ways that I used it in today's look, but I think it really will depend on the shade that you get. I chose bronze originally because I thought it would be very multitasking. There are deeper colors, there are softer colors, so it's kind of an in-betweener thing for me. It adds a lot of moisture to the skin, so if you're thinking about going on top of foundation with it, keep that in mind. Otherwise, I could see it as just sort of something you glaze over your skin, maybe even mixed with a little moisturizer, just to get an even more glowing look and a lot of extra moisture. I really like the Hippie stick. I'm getting into this for the hands. I feel like, is it an irreplaceable, one of a kind, has to be purchased from this brand kind of products? Maybe not. I also do love the scent though. Oh, it's so fresh. Like I get that kind of spearmint thing happening, and just like fresh herbal, very clean, very nice. It's growing on me for sure. This balm is fine, but I'm not like jumping up and down. The eyeshadow was fine. You know, another thing where I wouldn't have to purchase it from this brand, but this brand did do it well. The worst things for me, the things that just could not hang on staying power wise, were that cream shadow called Just a Sec, and then this pencil that they're calling the Best Pencil. These things can fade really easily from my look. And again, I just think in terms of making the look work for me and adding just a little bit of coverage and staying power, you know, pulling in a powder that you have, pulling in a lighter powder maybe for T-zone and under eye. I mean lighter in terms of the shade, like a translucent one, and then just a little bit of powder foundation all over, and I will actually have a pretty satisfying staying power experience all over my face with this. I would love to hear in the comments section like what you're thinking of this brand, what you've tried. Do you have any tips and tricks with different products? How do you like to use the Miracle Balms, and what shades do you have? I can't get over how pretty that Rosy Brown is. But thank you for your time today. Thanks for taking time to hear everything I had to say. I've had a lot to say because I've experimented with this stuff for a while. And yeah, this is just my honest take as always. So thank you for watching, friends, and I'll see you again soon. I love you. Bye.